What's going on, family? This is episode 52 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. What's Good himself, Israel.
What's good?
And you know we got a doctor in the house because we got Luke in the building.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
What is going on, fellas? It is our season finale. We didn't win 52 episodes of the year. You know what I'm saying? Giving it to the people exactly how they should want it. Well, sometimes. Sometimes they was mad at us. Sometimes it got a little controversial. But in all, if ain't nobody talking about you, you ain't doing nothing.
Yes, that's the truth, my brother.
That
That's the
part.
truth.
Get him
So-
something worth talking about.
Well, fellas, before we get deep into the episode today, you know I want to start this thing off. How has y'all week been?
Israel, you know you first always. Well, you might as well go ahead.
Man, my weekend seems to blur sometimes, but it's been it was a good busy weekend. Got what was that? Friday, Saturday off. Went back to work Sunday.
Man, you was working on
Whole
the
lot
weekend?
of nah, I was off on the weekend. But
Okay.
yeah, had some motorcycle anniversary stuff going on. And then chilling. Aside from that, chilling, just late nights. And yeah, that's just about it on my end. Nothing too crazy.
Hey, I seen some of your motorcycle buddies. They was riding through. They was on in College Park. I think they was on Old Nat.
Yeah, we was around there. Or they was around there because I'm not on what they call it twos at this point in time. My magical beast is in the shop. But yeah, we was around there, College Park, Riverdale.
Okay. What about you? What about you, Luke? How was your weekend?
Man, y'all be having some exciting weekends because I just be working. I ain't even gonna lie. It just be like I don't know. I it flew by because I just was grinding. It was some stuff I had to do, around the church and stuff like that. So it kind of kept me so busy, man. I look back up. We back at Monday again. So, but all in all, as well. What about you, bro? What about you? I'm telling y'all, I know y'all weeks be a little bit more exciting than mine.
Well, I mean, let me see. I was working. I've been handling business. I had to pay. What was that? Saturday, I had to pay for some assistance on some things on some projects. Um, I've been really just spending money to make more money. So
That
I've
sounds
been
like
really
investing
working.
money. You got to invest it. If the money gonna
Yeah,
come back and it's going to a good cause, that's investing money.
yeah, yeah. But off the top, now, fellas, I said I've been having me a 3 for 3 type of situation this year, right? And so I gotta share off the top, family, my second book that's coming out at the end of June. And I finally got the cover so I can show everybody.
Oh,
And it's entitled The Gifted Princess.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my first okay. It showed I was basically, trying to get this type of book, right? I wanted to describe it as my Black Panther meets Harry Potter mixed together.
Mm.
So it's my action young adult novel, my first one. And what Erica Badu say? I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about you know what I'm saying? So
you got a book out yet? I mean, you got a physical copy out yet?
It's dropping at the end of June.
it's dropping at the end of June. June
I mean,
27th.
but do you have the author's copy yet? That's what I want to know.
Why
Do
you
you
so
have
nosy? What you want to see? You want a
Hey,
sneak
well,
peek?
hey, nah, let him be nosy. Let him be nosy,
You want a
cause
sneak peek?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Let
It's
people
a
look,
it's a
look.
it's a thick book. I'm not gonna show it today.
All right,
All right,
all
well,
right.
hold on, then. Wait, then. Why we on this book subject, then? Because I'm a witness. This man been talking about this for a minute. Okay,
I have.
but you know, I do like the pivot. You know what I'm saying, that you're going into, because it's gonna provide more of an entertainment aspect for people who are into things like that. And just to get the people a little bit some. He ain't really just stopping with a book with this one. So keep your eye out, because
That's what's
I
up.
think this can be something that's really big. You know, I got a little music, might have a little music in my profile for it, but I ain't gonna talk about it right now.
Yeah,
But
we
you
ain't
know,
gonna.
he has been working on this one
Come
for a
on
minute.
now,
We ain't gonna
y'all
talk about
always
it right now.
look, man.
There we
Y'all up
go.
here.
Oh,
We gotta give him a little
that's what's
sprinkle,
up.
man. A little
y'all
sprinkle.
y'all up here keep on trying to tell everybody what's coming. Just hold on a second now.
You
We
gotta
gotta
get
we gotta
you
roll it
gotta give
out.
him a teaser.
We,
You gotta give him just a little teaser.
Gotta
Yeah,
give him
but
the
I'm looking forward to
teaser.
it. Yeah, I'm
listen,
looking forward to it.
you gotta be multi. The queen would always say we gotta be multi-dimensional.
There
So
you
I'm
go.
not
There
just
you go.
working on just a book with these type of things. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say nothing
Just like,
else.
yeah, I'm excited for you, bro. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Well, family, speaking of our queen, today is a special episode. This is the last episode of the first season. We have a special guest coming in to talk to us. I'm excited.
Difficulties.
I know everybody is excited on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And I just want to introduce, you know, my leader, Dr. Luke's leader.
Absolutely.
Said, there we go. Hold up. I could not hear what you said. You said the queen would always say what now?
You got to be multidimensional.
Multi-dimensional. Hold on. Let me reconnect.
Well, we're gonna talk about it because
Yeah,
she
yeah,
came,
yeah.
she's here today with us, family. So introducing to our Atlanta audience, to the people we have from New York. We have a couple people from around the United States that have been tuning in with us. Her Imperial Majesty, okay? The Imperial Candace Queen, Hatshepsut.
What's good,
Yeah.
queen?
Hey,
I gotta see how to
some
turn
of my
this light
favorite
on.
people on here.
There we
Yes,
go.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
We
I'm
doing
doing good.
well.
Doing pretty good. We making it. Making it one day at a time.
Well, that's what's up. That's what I love to hear. And you got to
Absolutely.
stay time.
You going in and out a little bit. What you say?
I said sometimes you have to take it one day at a time.
Yes, ma'am. So we've been doing this about 52 episodes now. This is our season finale. I couldn't stop and just go to the next season without first ending it with a real Pharaoh. Okay. I know
Yeah,
you probably been waiting, like, where's my time? Listen, we say the best for last. The grand
Absolutely.
Pharaoh
finale.
queen. Yes.
that's what's up. You guys have been doing wonderful work on the podcast. I just want to say that I'm honored to be invited to the Pharaohs Podcast for the last episode of this particular season.
Thank you.
And I was just listening backstage, and I'm happy to hear your new endeavors that are going to be coming into fruition within just what, weeks?
Yeah.
If I heard that right, just a couple of weeks. And so I was reading between the lines, and I'm excited for you too, because I can kind of figure. 'Cause I don't want to put your business out there. This is going. I love the front page of the book, and I also love the title of the book. Like you had me at the title and the cover. I ain't gonna even lie.
Okay.
You had me at the title and the cover, and then just listening to what you were sharing with your brothers about some other things that's gonna come along with the book. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, I got a big plan for it. When y'all read it, y'all gonna be shocked on how I put it together because it's art imitates real life.
It,
So the way I put this whole thing together, because the what I'm working on that's coming out later is going to be the prequel to what I'm putting out in June.
That's
So
what's up.
oh,
Working like
yeah,
a team.
I put a whole world together.
okay.
And the name of and since it's coming out, I can talk about it just a little bit more. The name of the country, so it's about this royal family. This
Mm-hmm.
book focuses on the Princess Akila Masters,
Okay.
and she is like I say, I put my Black Panther and Harry Potter put together. So she's coming up on her 18th birthday, where she's going to discover that she has these magical gifts. So
Okay.
it's a action adventure. And the name of the land is called Koptiaton.
Come to you, too. That's what's
Okay.
up. All right.
So yeah, I'm excited about it myself because it's a lot that I got all together that's gonna be put. It's more than just this one book.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, and I'm looking forward.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. See where it goes.
Yeah.
Fictional writing is different. You really gotta have imagination.
Oh,
Well, when you know who you are, or what you
black
got to say, Queen?
and putting all that together. Yes. And what's the land? Captivia.
Koptiaton.
Captivia. Okay. Okay. You gonna turn some heads with this. I'm already knowing.
Yeah, that
You
was
definitely.
the plan. That was the plan for sure.
Yeah.
Um, what I was about to say, I was gonna say what well to go off of what Israel was saying. When you know who you are, you be able to work into your own um land for real. Because we tell people all the time, to work your land, but if you don't know how to work the land, you will know how to get anything out of it. And so I want to dip into the creative side of myself to because I already released a book back in March about numerology. So
Mm-hmm.
I have now the time to give more of the, like I say, the creative mind that I have and the more vision that I want to show, not just the world, but also to the nation itself. But Queen, today ain't about me for real. I just want to show that real quick.
Okay.
Today is about you. And so I wanted to start off just with one of my questions that I had in my mind. And that is, this is the first time a lot of people are seeing you, especially down here in Atlanta. I have a lot of Atlanta folks on here. Um, so can you just basically, tell the people about yourself?
From which dimension? Well, just a little bit about myself. I have been born and raised Coptic. Um, my parents have had a church for over 30 years, which now I'm the pastor of. And I would like to think of myself as having been a servant to my church as well as my community before entering into leadership. And I think that's something that I do well is serve. And so I'm a mother. I've been a wife. Um, I'm a counselor. I'm a confidant. I'm a mediator. I'm a healer, a spiritual lawyer, I like to think. Just to name some things about me. But I love people and I love God's people. I love my people, to be more specific. And I'm just looking to, on my own journey, to bring out more greatness of myself through my people, if that makes sense.
Amen.
Absolutely.
I love that. You definitely agree on the spiritual lawyer aspect because you know how to definitely change your mind. So, with all of that you said, what has been one of the toughest things? Because you just celebrated, your third year pastoral anniversary. What has been
Mhm.
some of the challenges so far that you think that you've had, that is very like one of the ones you just didn't even see coming that you've had since, you started your journey being a Coptic leader?
Well, first and foremost, getting people together was the first challenge, to be honest. Because a lot of times, you may have a vision or there may be a particular assignment or mission that you have been placed on, and you need the help of people. You know, it's no point of being a leader without followers, right? And so that would have been the first challenge, getting the people together on one accord, creating a genuine harmony amongst the people. Um, Another challenge would say would be, and I'm gonna just be real transparent, is keeping people from being jealous of one another or trying to make it seem like they're in a competition when they're not. And
Mm.
that's really important to me because everybody is important. It doesn't matter, what job or position or post or duty or office or title you have to uphold or duty to perform. Everybody's job is important. You know, if you have, we have a church, right? And we have people that come into church, we serve food. And if you have nobody to clean up, then the church is left, unclean. So just like as a leader, the person who keeps the church clean is just important as the leader because it's a job that has to be done. It has to be fulfilled. Or I'll even say maybe somebody who's the doorkeeper. You know, whatever job you have, I always encourage people, you be the best at what you do because everybody's job is important. And in order to make everything flow smoothly, when everybody's on their job and everybody can respect each other's job and their position and what they have to do, then you can have harmony. There's a peaceful flow, and it's like a well-oiled machine, you know. So I would say that getting the people together one on one accord in harmony, and knowing that and understanding that what we're doing is not we're not in competition with one another. We're here to help one another, and it should be more of a thing of iron sharpens iron instead of everybody feeling like they're in competition with somebody.
Mm.
Because being a servant, it's no competition in that. God does not see you as a better servant because you feel like you out competed another servant. No, it's not about that. So that's what I would say was my first and biggest challenge.
Do you think, the jealousy thing, is it going back to, how that mentality of that crabs in a bucket pulling people down? Do you believe that, as a culture, that is something that you think we got better at, or is it still the same of like, no, I see you doing something, but because you're not helping me, I'm gonna pull you down. I'm gonna do something, and then no, wait, I'm gonna pull you down. So like, do you believe that, like, are we getting better at that? How do you see it in 2025?
Um, in 2025, in my honest opinion, um, no shade to some of our elders, right?
Mm.
In my experience and through my observations, a lot of that I saw in the older construct of our culture.
Mm.
Um, what I have also observed is that where the change and the flip side of that comes in, I've seen more of that being successful on the side of the younger adults coming up, and even some of the younger teenagers, because um, what I do admire about a lot of you guys in the church and even around the nation, right? Because the three of you are true examples of what I'm getting ready to say. You, Israel, and Luke. I have noticed that amongst the younger people, it's kind of like no holds bars. We're not limited. We're not bound to what maybe I observed from the older people who felt like it was a competition, or who felt like if it wasn't my way, it was the highway. And if if you can't see it my way, well, then you shouldn't see it at all. Or like you say, well, if you can't conform to what I'm saying, I'll do what I can do to pull you down and to sabotage you and to make things bad for you. Like you mentioned, the crab in a bucket mentality. But I do think that the change is coming. It's coming maybe slower than what we would like. But I always say little progress, slow progress is still progress. And so as long as that ball keeps rolling in that direction, you will grasp the attention of others, and it will eventually start to rub off on somebody else, and they'll be able to see things the same way that those of us who um, like to encourage, like to uplift, like to support, you know, from my lineage with my mom. The queen was big on, and I'm sure you and Luke can attest to this because you all have sat under her as well. But the one thing that she always imparted in us and she really embedded in us was to celebrate others, to praise God for other people's blessings, to support others in their endeavors. Because she always used to say, you're going to have your turn. And when your turn comes, you know, you're going to want people to support you. You're going to want people to cheer you on. You're going to want people to encourage you and be happy for you. So I'm big on that because again, I'm not with the competition stuff. It's enough out here for everybody in whatever their vocation is, whatever their particular craft is, whatever their gift, their talent is, for everybody to make it and be successful. So then there's no need because it's enough. It's more than enough. You get what I'm saying? So it's
Absolutely.
need for that type of mentality and or way of thinking because it's enough for all of us to make it. And again, I'm a big stickler on that in supporting one another, but and everything that I say, just know this is my disclaimer. It means it's coming from a genuine and an authentic place, right? Because we don't want to get involved in people pretending, because the worst thing you can have is somebody who um shows themselves to be a friend or shows themselves to be a supporter and be in your corner, and then you find out that they really jealous. You know what I mean? So that's why I say it definitely, when I'm speaking of these things, it comes from a genuine and a sincere place of that encouragement. It's genuine support, it's genuine encouragement, it's genuine uplifting, it's genuine celebrating, it's genuine in celebrating others. Because it's true. If I clap for the three of you, because you all three have done great things, you're still doing great things. You are servants, you're workers in the church, you're workers outside of the church. You serve your community. Some of you are serving Chicago and Atlanta and maybe some other places as well. So if I celebrate you in genuineness with authenticity, well, when my time comes, guess what? I'm looking for you to be a cheerleader for me the same way I was for you. And it's all.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Luke. You had a question.
Nah, I was saying absolutely. I agree with what you're saying. I do have a question though, especially while we on this topic. So, and I'm just kind of lay way into it, and then I'm gonna let you go in, Queen. One of my most viral clips on this podcast was what you said earlier about, I would want to learn how to be a good servant because it'll prepare me for becoming a great leader. That's literally like one of my most viral clips on TikTok, I think. And I understood, and YouTube, and I understood why that touched so many people, because many people are looking for leadership. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is that a lot of people trust is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, as men and as workers, we conversate, and we think of ways to allow people to see the gift that you have when it comes to working with people, and not really overlooking what they have to offer, but putting it up to a level to where it's something that they could be useful for.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to you is, in the next 5 to 10 years, when it comes to the young community, because you have a lot of young people that are around you, where do you see yourself? What's your vision for, let's say, the next 10 years? What's your vision for yourself as a leader, but as well as for the community that you're help building up? And before you answer, I wanted to make sure I let the people know this is a woman that's working in the city of Chicago. We have people all over the country, and a lot of times people look at Chicago as a place that's very hard to deal, and it's not easy. But
It's
as a leader of a community and a lot of young people, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? And what vision do you have for the people that are following you and the people that are trusting you as their leader and as their spiritual counselor and as their teacher? What do you see?
well, I definitely see greatness. Let me just start. Greatness on top of greatness. Um, you guys know that my motto is we're masters building masters. So 5 to 10 years from now, um, I'm looking for all of us to be on another level, because I always tell you guys that as I go up, as I elevate, as I upgrade, however you want to put it, you guys are to go along with me. And so I'm looking to, as a visionary, I'm looking to have a business for the church. You talk about 5 to 10 years from now. I'm looking to have some other resources that the church is in charge of for the community, specifically geared for the community. Um, that could be just throwing some things out there, a part of the answer. It could be a grocery store. It could be a free food pantry, not a thing where, well, we know we already give, but something that would be more permanent, right? Not just a once a month thing, but hey, I want to have something where any day of the week, if there's a mother, a child, a father, or whomever that might say, hey, I might have a place to live, but I don't have food, and I want them to be able to come into our food pantry or store where we're giving these things to the people for free. I don't want your money. I don't want your EBT card. I don't want none of that, as far as what I have a vision for the community, because like you mentioned, and the reason for that is like you mentioned, with the trust of the people, not only the people in church communities, but also in neighborhood communities that these churches are in. There has been a lack of trust because the people feel like the churches are just there using the church as a platform to take, and take. And that's why our church has always been big, even for the last 3 decades. We've always been big on serving the community. We've always been big on, just as we ask for help when we're putting on fundraisers and things, every year we have done something to give back to the community that we're in, and even in other communities that our church does not have anything to do with. And so I think that that's something that's important to keep constant, because it will show the people, because communities change, right? Like if you think about our community, we've had a lot of the people who were in a community during the time that the church was really thriving over these decades. a lot of them were older, so now they've passed on, right? And so now you have to keep doing what you're doing so that you show the newcomers to the community what we're about, right? And so that's why we take things outside the church, we set them up, and we publicize and we promote what the church is doing, especially when we're trying to give back to the community. We've had our food pantry that we do once a month, where we have non-perishable items, and that has grown from just non-perishable items, which you can attest to that, Luke, because you're a co-founder of the Love Lifted Me Foundation, and we
Absolutely.
that from just non-perishables to where now we're getting fresh produce. You talking about fresh vegetables, cabbages, sweet potatoes, carrots, even with perishable food, meat produce, milk, eggs, and then it's even grown to where we even get sometimes uh products to help mothers with children, from infants on up to toddlers. We have baby bags, brand baby bags with formula and baby wipes. We have cases of Pampers that we give away. So,
Mhm.
again, it's important to keep showing the community. And so that's something that we already started, but I want to take that part. Let's take that to another level. 5, 10 years from now, like I said, where we can employ somebody to run our pantry or to run our store just for the people who need to come in and get something for free. Now, by us being a non-for-profit, if people wanted to give a donation, because guess what? Some people will come back and say, I remember when I didn't have money in my pocket and I came by here and you guys really helped me. You blessed me. I didn't have anything to eat. Yeah, I had a place to live, but I didn't have food to cook. So I just want to give something back. And that's okay, in my opinion, because we're not asking. But if people want to freely give, it's nothing wrong, because we're non for profit, and that will help us to continue to help the other people we're helping. I want to be able to provide employment for maybe people in the community, or even people in our church, or even maybe other churches who might be affiliated with us, who just need a little direction or might need a little help to get their foot through the door, to show that they're sincere, they're eager to work, they're hungry, they're thirsty, and they want to make something of themselves. I want to, 5 to 10 years from now, be able to have high school students or even college students come in and get help that they need, because you'll be surprised at what people don't know. And a lot of times we take for granted and we assume that people have these resources. We assume that people have people to help them. We assume that people know, well, what's the first step to take to get this application going. Sometimes it's the simplest things where people need help that will be the biggest boost and bump for them to help them to get to where they're trying to go. And so I just want to be like a mega resource for the churches and the communities, and for the people, even if it is not about just the church, but the church is our platform, right? So let's just be real with that. But we want to definitely step outside of the church. And again, this is why I keep reiterating about the community, because the community is very, very key and important. And even with something else, 5, 10 years from now, well, with the way we got things going, I'm looking, we might be on the road to being a Coptic mega church. I'm a visionary. So you saying 5 to 10 years from now? No, I know it's not gonna happen overnight. But we didn't know that the things that was gonna happen within these 3 years,
Absolutely.
and the way we didn't know it was gonna take off like that either, right? So,
Absolutely.
and and just trying to answer your question, this is really where I am. And if I may, as one of our predecessors, like King Peter, um, I do look at his construct, his model construct, and as a leader, and not only as a leader, but being a pharaoh, because y'all all know that I take that to such the heart that I always say I'm the good pharaoh, right? And so I really stand in that. I embrace that, and that is really my um. So, in King Peter's construct, from 5 to 10 years from now, Lou, I might be looking to invest into some farmland. I might be looking to be able to open up a market like King Peter did and bring the harvest from the crops from the farm to our people so that they don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go out and deal with, you all know we dealing with this food, the GMOs and all of the
Mm-hmm.
chemicals and genetically modified things, lab grown stuff. And we go out and even with the organic stuff now, let's be real,
Mm-hmm.
we
Because
say, oh, we want
money
this
got involved.
because we know the other stuff is not good. Well, now they doing stuff to the organic stuff, so
Mm-hmm.
organic. But when you're planting your own food, you're cultivating your own food, right? And you're harvesting your own food. You know what went in that food and what didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't have to worry about the harsh pesticides and the other chemicals and the genetically modified food and all of the stuff, the bad stuff that goes in it. That's really
Mm-hmm.
hurting us internally, even when you're trying to eat right, right? Because if the vegetables contaminated, I'm still messed up because after so much consumption of that, it's slowly messing me up internally. So
Right.
even
Mm-hmm.
in following King Peter's construct, I want to open up a business. Now we stepping away from the non-for-profit, and I want to have businesses where we can employ our people who may not be able to get a job in corporate America, because everybody needs to make a livelihood for themselves. And so when you find that you can go to a church that is not just about take, but your church, and I would tell anybody this, your church, yes, you should contribute to your church. Okay. People think that because a church is a non-for-profit business, that church is going to bill. The church has bills, and the bills are not
Mm-hmm.
going to be paid off of, well, I said I love God, or I said I support the
Mm-hmm.
church. They looking for dead presidents. You need dead presidents
Right.
to keep them afloat, and you need dead
That's the
presidents to pay
truth.
the. And there's a lot of other things that come along with having a church or even a non-for-profit business. So it still takes money. And then what in turn people are looking at the non-for-profit business. Well, you are non-for-profit. That means you should be helping. Well, it takes money to help you. The
Right.
Mm-hmm.
non-for-profit that we're not trying to cash out on helping you, but we do need the donations and we do need the fundraisers so we can do these things when we giving away hot meals and packaged meals for people to take home. Because
Mm-hmm.
when we do our Thanksgiving giveaway, we give away hot food along with a basket or half many bags or whatever they want. We give it to them. Same thing.
Back to school giveaway.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we give the food away at Christmas time and a hot meal, so they have food to take home to cook for themselves, and we give them a hot plate right there for just coming by and stopping to get some food. We need the money because how are we giving away brand new coats, brand new boots,
Mm-hmm.
brand new hats and gloves every winter? We do this faithfully. We give the children toys because we understand. Hey, somebody might have lost their job right before the holiday, and who wants to see little children let down? And no,
Right.
it's not about us celebrating a pagan holiday, but we have our own season for giving at that time. And so we try to help out those who may not have it and give them something to look forward to so that they're not left out. So these
Mm-hmm.
are some things um, as a visionary where I see us going,
Yeah,
especially from now.
Yeah.
Have,
Church should be the resource.
yeah, absolutely. And see that type of attitude when the right people see that, I think we'll be able to rebuild and regain the trust
mm-hmm.
that we have really lost, because it's unfortunate, but it's true. What you said is true. A lot of people have lost their trust and their faith. And
Mm-hmm.
so us good guys, we have to keep doing what we're doing again to show the church, to show the congregation, to show the outside community, well, we're not here to take from you. We're not, this leader ain't getting rich off of what people are giving in the church, or even other people outside with their donations to the church. We're here to serve and we're here
Mm-hmm.
to give back. Now, I'm gonna say this and then I'll be finished answering that question. You know, we're here to serve and we're here to give back, but we're not supposed to be impoverished because we're here serving. Okay. I am royalty. So I shouldn't have to walk around looking like a bum, ratting in a hoopty, and living in a shack to appease people who have the mentality that all churches are doing are taking their congregants' money and buying cars and houses and fur coats and taking extravagant trips and buying jets and whatnot. Okay. On this side of the town, that's not what we're about.
Mhm.
But it does not say that I have to live like I'm outside of the palace just because I'm serving. I
Mhm.
can
Right.
serve you well and drive a nice car. I can serve you well and live in a nice home. I can serve you well and have a nice bank account because I work too.
Right.
You see? So these things, these are some of these components that I'm speaking of. This is what it's going to take though, seriously. And that's why the continuity of what we're doing, consistency in it is so important.
I'm glad you
Absolutely.
touched
Thank you for
on.
that. Thank you. Thank you. I knew that was gonna
I'm
kind of
glad you touched
take
on
us
that.
to what.
No, but I'm glad she touched on that because I got a few questions, but you had already touched on like how, also because you're a servant of God, you supposed to be so-called in a lower state or just living regular. No, you don't
You
have to
gotta
do
look
that.
good too. Look the
Right.
You
part.
gotta We had this conversation, I think it was a few episodes ago, and we were talking about how when Marvin Sapp told them to close the doors,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about that over here.
Yeah.
And we was like, well, we confident. We already know, like, since us growing up in church, when it's
Right. You
offering
close the
time,
doors
don't
when the
nobody
money
supposed
going
to go
on. Right.
outside.
Oh, let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about the demographics of where I okay. Always been in the hood, still in the hood, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take your church mentality and lose your
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you understand? So from where we came from 71st and Halsted to 72nd and Vincennes to 103rd and Low. Okay. And the real thing about it though, if I can give y'all a quick history lesson, the real thing about it was when you look at our lineage and our foundation, right? The Universal Prayer House, and True Temple of Solomon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's Coptic after Melchizedek, you came from two of those two places, right? And you have to remember, and I know you probably know through your research and things like that, there were hundreds, almost thousands of people in those churches.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it then, if somebody was gonna rob a church, they would probably find a big church with a lot of people where there was really where they would think it was a lot of money. And so it was always a thing of one, the security of the other women and children and members in the church that were giving, you want to keep them safe and protected. So the best way to do that is, well, if you know you're handling money, lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about prison or entrap somebody against their will. It's called no. We're in certain areas demographically that are not the safest demographically, right? And so we're collecting the church money, lock the doors, and there was always a man left on the door after the door was locked, and you couldn't get in, you couldn't go out, and you could not get in until the offering had been resolved and was out of the out of the way of the sanctuary, out of the people. And so with that situation, Mm, I don't know if that was necessarily the case because as I watched the whole video, that's not what it was to me. But I wasn't there, and I haven't talked to Bishop Marvin Sapp, so I don't want to speak and say what his
No,
were.
yeah.
But and from the video, I can't really say that that was the same thing that we've been doing for decades as a means of security versus as a means of you ain't getting out of here till I get this money.
Yeah. He was doing what'd you call a robbery at that
It's
point.
yeah, his tone.
Look,
I think
he
real
was
quick
policing the people.
if I could chime in on what she said real quick too, I think it comes with the order and things. And just real quick, I think that's why, like I said earlier in the first question, when it comes to drawing in people, this is something we talk about because, as royal prince, as prophets, as men of the church, we found that usually we're the smaller demographic. So our quest to fish is a little different. We have to approach the water very different. And I think a lot of times it comes with the order, the green, as I'm wearing, I'm representing my granddaddy, the green, and then I got the love. But if you're able to work those two things together, and I think this is something you're really good at. And if a lot of people would take time, and they will get a lot of time soon in the future to hear a lot more about the way you speak and the way that you teach, it really homes in on the divinity of the male masculinity side, because you don't just let things go by. You address them. And this is something, again, like we said with the church, this is what a lot of people was wanting to be done, but it wasn't getting done. Things was just going on, and then nobody want to say nothing. Did nobody have the galls to say anything? So I think it's humbling because you don't take away from us. You recognize our job and you uplift us to do our job, which makes it easier for us to fish. Because if I was to come across a young man and he was to say, okay, why you dedicate yourself? Why are you doing this? I'm able to express the skills, the knowledge that I'm learning. And I'm not getting, like you say, the iron fist of, no, you can't do that. No, you can't try that. No, I'm the leader. And if I'm not the one doing it, it ain't gonna be done. That's not what we get. It's just the truth. It just is what it is. A lot of people don't like it. But every leader has an opportunity to set their own foundation. So I'm glad you touched on a lot of that, because I want our viewers to get a chance to see, because we're reaching people all over the world. And a lot of people have a stigma. They have a perception, but they never really get a chance to learn about the person or learn about what's really going on in the city of Chicago, known as one of the most dangerous cities. They have no clue unless we present it to the world and show them, no, there are people, there are soldiers on the ground that are willing and are trying to work with our people and just create something better while we're here. That's all we can do.
Right.
Yeah, they ask me that all the time down here. I know you probably get the same type of thing, Israel, where these Atlanta people always asking us, is Chicago really that bad? Is this, and this? And I be having to tell them, all right, y'all, stop watching the news, because they
Every
got y'all
place has its
spooked
bad
out.
spots.
I
But
can't hear you, Pharaoh. Was you
I,
saying something?
No, yeah, I was agreeing with you when you said you had to tell them to stop watching. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of times, let's just be real. It doesn't matter how prominent a news station is. We know what goes on behind the closed doors and under the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever whatever propaganda has been paid for to be put out in the media, because the mass media, the news is reaching the masses.
right.
It's a part of, and y'all know this because y'all are no strangers to what I'm talking about. So if we can put this out here in the mass media and get them to believe it because they feel like we're a credible source, then we can instill in them whatever we need to instill in them, whether that's fear or whether there's hatred, or you know what I mean? Because a lot of times some of the stories that they report, they don't have the information yet, and then they put 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock news. So they constantly playing it back to back. Then they rerunning it, right? Now it's evening time and all this same stuff is being regurgitated all over
Programming.
whatever else they're getting ready to report. You know? So I agree with you on that. You have to stop watching the news. And the truth of the matter is, I know statistics are statistics, and we don't ignore the reports because we need that. Statistical information is important to us, right? So, but we just still have to be careful, because I feel like this: everywhere you go, there's a good part of it and a bad part of it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
If you look at even when people talk about Inglewood and Roseland and the Auburn Gresham area, even Pilsen and the back of the yards, these are the rough areas in the city, but what they don't tell you is people are getting killed up north, Lincoln Park.
Oh yeah, right.
Facts.
When they had the stalker up there in the Rogers Park,
People live and they
offing people.
have money to stay in these high penthouses and off Lakeshore Drive and all this other kind of stuff.
Facts.
They're not
Yep.
telling you that because again, the propaganda is to show our people
Mm.
such a terrible limelight, but you're never showing everybody else, right? Because I don't say all Caucasians are bad. I don't say all Indian people are bad. I don't say all Polish or all Asian people are bad. No, there's bad in every ethnic background. You get what I'm saying? Just like if you was to go over into what like Japan or Korea or same way they got gangs here. They talk about the gang, all these young niggas, right? And they gang banging. When you go into other countries, all you gotta do is go to the right area. They
Right, you found the same thing.
do. It's the same thing. So I just feel like it's about using wisdom and common sense sometimes. Sometimes you ain't even got to tap into your wisdom because it don't even be that deep. Common,
Mm-hmm.
if you going in a certain area, take the right people with you, go when it's daylight, do what you got to do, and get out of there. Go on
Mm-hmm.
about
Right.
your business. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna yield back to you guys. In the word, there's a scripture, and I cannot quote you the exact scripture, but it's in this book, the book of Revelation. And in this particular scripture in Revelations, it tells you that at a certain time at night, you should go home. I'm gonna find
Oh
it
yeah.
back to you so that if you want to bring it back out or if you want it just for your personal cross reference, you can have it. I can't, but I have to find the exact number. But it's in the book of Revelations where it tells us after a certain time at night, you should go home because it says there's after a certain time in the nighttime, there's nothing but destruction, death, uh, evil, people who are out doing evil and doing wrong and a lot of wrongdoing. And if you all ever stop and think, right, about when things are happening, I'm willing to bet most of the times when people get hurt, it's because they out in the wee hours of the night.
Yeah. Be
What do
like
you
3 a.m.,
go
2
home?
a.m.
And they say, yeah, early this morning or approximately around 3 a.m. or approximately around 4 a.m. And I'm saying to myself, what are you outside for? You should be at home. You should be in the fifth stage of sleep. And then you wonder why these heinous things and these tragic things happen. But maybe you should ask yourself, is this worth my life? Me trying to hang out? Because what people doing? Trying to run with a crowd, right? Trying to run with a
Right.
crowd, trying to run with a clique, because you trying to feel a part of something. And this is what they telling you they do. And they showing you and they telling you, well, if you want to be a part of us, this is what we do and this is what you need to do. No. And I've been young before. I'm still young. Learn,
Amen.
right? In common sense. I've come to learn that as I became a parent and a mother, do you want your children doing some of the stuff you was doing at a certain age and you was outside, right? Because maybe there were things I can handle that in this generation is not the same. They can't handle that. And this is why we lose so many of our young people because some of them don't have the guidance, right? Some
Or
of them
self
out here making
control.
their own, you know,
Self control to make you go home at night.
right? But some of them ain't been taught self control because they out here think they're out this behavior to them. They're thinking they're living their life and not even knowing you're not doing nothing but cutting your days short,
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say that, but I digress.
Yeah,
Well, I
they
wanted
look.
to I wanted to finish real quick because we had went all the way to the next side of what I was really trying to finish up to say. But basically I was saying when it came to the whole Marvel Sapp situation and it came to, you just touching on how we were talking about the money of whatever the pastor, in our case we call them leaders,
Mm.
um what they are receiving. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Luke said on the podcast, we don't want to follow no broke person.
Right.
So I don't care that you gotta pay some tithes and some dues and things to get the lights fixed, or the lights cut on or whatever, and maybe no, technically no salary is being held, but at the same time, you, like you say, the more you elevate, the more we would, I hope we would want to elevate. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people who
Absolutely.
just satisfied with whatever they doing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that is a side of people. Luke like to say, get rid of them. And I'll be like, well, listen now. Can't
But you
That's
can't
how it
get rid
should
of
be. As I
everybody.
elevate, they should elevate. Now if they don't as I go, then they get lost in the sauce. And they wonder what happened. They stay complacent.
Yeah, because sometimes
Exactly.
I feel like they become baggage, and I know that's something I'm still working on a little bit. Lord have mercy, I'm working on
This
it. But like that's what I was saying, Solomon. Because I'm glad you rounded it back to that, because they don't look at the financial side, and even financially, that's what a lot of people are looking for in their leadership. I've come to learn one day, and we have two services, but sometimes 1 or 2 hours of wisdom is greater than what a lot of people are getting throughout the rest of the week. And this is one of the things that I encourage when I'm speaking to young men or young people in general. What they say, what's the benefit? It's usually 1 or 2 hours of the real heavy wisdom gets brought down. That can sustain you for a week, but you have to take time out for it. You have to have the interest to say, okay, I'm not getting what I need from my aunties and my uncles and my mom and my dad, and whatever the situation may be. It is what it is. I still love them, but I gotta love myself to know that I need to get this wisdom. And this is how I market to the people, and let them know there's someone who's willing to give it, but you got to meet them at the door. You have to meet them so you can receive it. And I want the whole world to get a chance to get that, because we understand from what, the great Candace Queen Capanon said, we're trying to tell the world about this. I'm not shy about my way of life. And
right.
I don't feel like there's anything that I should be shy about it about. I
Mm.
feel like I'm supposed to scream to the top of the world. But I'm thankful because you're creating a platform that's meeting both the needs of people as far as having order in their life, but also receiving love. Because we see that sway a lot of times. And this is why the Marvin Sapp thing was so questionable, because that trust. A lot of people hurt. They need love, but they also need to be reminded of what order is in order to keep things going. The way that you're able to present it, I think is going to be something very beneficial. I think it's been beneficial to the Pharaohs Podcast viewership, because they've gotten a lot of what you teach from us, in the way that we present it and the way we may bring it to them. So, yeah, I wanted to say that. Go ahead, Solomon.
I wanted to say, because you just brought up a great point of like the people who, like Israel said, the people, they should want to elevate and stuff too. But you said that, why should I be shy about advertising or saying something to the public about my way of life? And I believe, and this is just my thoughts, and we can speculate on this. I believe it's because there's some people who really don't understand the Coptic way of life. And I believe because of, and I'm not trying to throw no shade to no teachers, anything like that, because remember, we got teachers. Sometimes it's the students' fault that they ain't paying attention in class. You get what I'm saying? So
Taught is it really being broken down for them to understand?
mm,
That
Because
part, or it could
you
be
cannot listen. A person cannot. You can sit in church and say amen all day long. And what do I say in church? No, I appreciate the amen, but do you understand?
mm,
Stop and think about what I'm saying. And sometimes, back to what I was saying earlier, when we assume, because like you just said, we know we have teachers, we know the people are supposed to be there in class, but in my experience, for example, I've had people tell me that I appreciate your style of teaching because I find a way to break it down for every level. If y'all notice, I can talk on y'all level because I know there's a level of understanding and wisdom and knowledge that you all three have already obtained. But to somebody else in the church who may have been there, they ain't got to be brand new, but I may not be able to speak to them on the level that I speak to you about, and you all can understand, comprehend, right? They can sit up because they going to, some people are going along to get along, Solomon. And so when you find that you have people,
That is true.
because, and I'm not saying it from a negative sense, right? Because their intention can be in the right place. But if they're not boisterous enough to say, hey, teacher, whoever their teacher may be, or whoever their leader may be, I know you, we talked about this, and I might have said amen, and I might have shook my head, yeah, but I really didn't understand that. It really didn't resonate in me. So could you break that down for me? People not doing that, Solomon, and that's what I'm finding, and that's why people may say, well, the queen, you take these um little cynical or even comical or humorous, or I try to keep it real, but I try to keep it real but also relatable to whatever audience it is that I'm addressing, or whatever audience it is that I'm trying to share whatever this thought is, right? And so some people, they're there, and you're right, Solomon. Some people are being taught, and shame on them, because you're showing up and you're not taking in your teaching, and you're not applying the teaching to your life, because that's the way for you it to be successful. And then you have some people who have, and again, like you said, no shade to nobody, but we keeping it real on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You have
Absolutely.
people who have an agenda because they're in this position of power, right? I'm a teacher, steward, or leader, or whatever. And you have some people that have an agenda because now that they finally stepped into that authoritative role, now I have my platform, and now let me teach my philosophy, right? And so people are misled, they're misinformed, and then they become misguided. And then just because it sounds good, because some people are captivated by what sounds good, some people are captivated by how good it looks, but how good it sounds and how good it looks doesn't mean that the person truly understands or
What
is
you saying?
context of what should be being communicated.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
teaching. Go ahead. Ooh.
I agree. Um, with that being said, I was just thinking to myself, like, because Luke, you did say that, like, because some people, I believe there would be more people um teaching and sharing and doing the things that they're doing for the nation if they had the full under and overstanding of it. And I think that's where we're at now with the brand new crop of leaders, this generation, what's going on now, have bigger plans, bigger visions. Tell Luke all the time, there's some people that definitely, what I'm saying, love our church, and they be getting mad because they looking at the queen like competition. And I'll be like, well, for what? What they hating for? Just do what you gotta do. But I also tell Luke too, I'm like, they don't got a Solomon and Luke up in there. That's probably
That's
another
yeah,
reason.
that's what it be, man. Because we gonna remind you that the market is big. Like, you said it so good when you said, what are we competing about? She
Yeah.
was speaking about this before on Sunday. What are we competing about, really? Because it and where we at as a Coptic nation, we are in one of, and Solomon had to correct me because I was going in one day. We in one of the largest cities in the United States. There are so many people looking. They're looking. They don't know you exist all the
Mhm.
time. But there are so many people. How can I be in competition with my other prophet brother? How can I be in competition with the deacons over here? How when there's so much meat on the
So
bone?
much to
There's
do.
so many
Right.
There's so much
possible
to do.
students, so many students out here looking for a home, don't even know that it exists. Why am I arguing with you instead of trying to help you get to it as well? I think
Right.
you hit it on the nail when you said earlier in the podcast. It's something about this generation that's coming up. We just not interested in trying to look bigger than the other brother or sister. We just
Yeah.
not. It's not for what. We all trying to
That
make
part.
it. We
Right.
Mhm.
just trying to make it together. And if I can
And that's
pull you along, I'm gonna
about
pull you along. Because
relate.
there's gonna be days that I get a little weak and I'm gonna need some help. So I think you touched on a very good point. And I think this is why a lot of the things that you said in your vision is going to come to fruition, because it's a genuine heart. It's a way of doing things for righteousness, not looking for, all of the worldly things that come out of it, but looking for people to be able to survive, because we know it was people who sacrificed for us, you know.
Definitely
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about ship and bond that Israel and Solomon have, because even in just the three of you, um, you are a movement by yourselves, but you all are forced together. And I just want to say this, and
Absolutely.
I told all three of you some years ago, not even knowing that this was gonna happen, not even knowing that it was gonna be at this level of being a leader. But do you three remember when I said I got stuff to do and I'm gonna need y'all help?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
This was when y'all was stepping into y'all vocation. You was getting ready to start writing books, and you were getting ready to start venturing off. Now, look at what I said. That was over 12 years ago. And look where we are. Where are we today? Right? And so the three of you can be the start of the movement. You get what I'm saying? You can be the start of the movement. And so again, that's why I say I am inspired. I admire you all. That's why I try to support you and encourage you, like I've always tried to do down through the years, because I know there's a greatness in you. And what you have consciously made a decision to make your endeavors, and you all persevere in that. And so my prayer is that by you being young Black men, that other young men will see this, and even older men, right, will see the example that you're setting. Because until we come out of that competitive mindset, and like Solomon mentioned earlier, the whole crab in the bucket or the crab in the barrel, well, if it's not me, I'm gonna pull you down. Or even here's one too: I'm okay with you as long as you got less than I have. I'm okay
Which
with
is
you
crazy.
as long as you're not uh succeeding the way I'm succeeding. But the moment you get what they have, and don't you dare supersede what they have, now you the problem. And this is and that's a big component of that competitive spirit that I'm speaking about amongst us. And like you said, as a culture, in the church, outside of the church, this is a cultural issue. And it goes back to, and I wasn't trying to bring this up, but systematic oppression, because that's the root of it. But so what I do like is that we've addressed the root. We know what it is, right? And now we're trying to do things to unify and bring our people together. Because until we stop the self-hate and get self-love, and I'm not meaning self on an individual, I'm talking about all us that got all these different shades of brown. That's the self-hate that has embedded and implanted that whole crab in the barrel mentality. Because we've been taught to hate one another instead of celebrating one another. We're taught to hate one another. We taught to some people are taught again to be competitive. You compete in sports, not
Right.
servitude. We all servants. And if we all servants, guess what? We should be working together to be the best servants that we could be. Like I said, it should be iron sharpening iron, not I'm competing with my sister. Or I'm constantly competing with my brother where I feel like I'm a better leader. I feel like, I don't entertain that. Now, if I need to, y'all know if I need to speak some facts on something, y'all know I have no problem with doing that. And I'm grateful for the testaments that you all have given to help show the world. And this is what King Peter did. If it wasn't for him in doing the same thing, we just doing it on a different scale because now it's out there. Once upon a time, yes, we kept a lot of things private because it was sacred. And we have to remember time has brought about a different change. So back then, even though we know like King Melchizedek, he had his broadcast and he had the recordings that he had like on went on like the 8-track or something, but now we got to go to another level. We have to find another way to reach the masses, right? So we know the
Right.
foundation we stand on is but we have to find ways to implement on that foundation. We take what's good, and now how can we make this effective for this day and time, right? And so you all are being a beacon of light, and I know that God is going to continue to do great things with you all if you keep your heads in the same direction that you've had them in now, if you keep working together. And I'm still here to support you guys, to encourage you, because this is what our people need to see. Hey, we're celebrating one another. And you know, a lot of times you'll see on social media, they have a lot of little memes and people say, well, I don't deal with social media, but it's a lot of truth in social media.
Right.
Because like they say, don't tell nobody what you're doing. We know you use wisdom, you keep certain things under wraps, but sometimes that's taken out of context, because you can celebrate, you can tell people all about what you're doing when you talking to the right people. You get
Right.
what I'm saying? Even if it has not manifested yet. Because guess what? You can come up with an idea, and the right person who's willing and ready to help celebrate you, they'll say, well, what you think about this? They'll try to add on to your idea to make what you're doing successful,
Well,
helping you out. It ain't about, oh well, you hanging around the wrong people because you can't say this or you can't. No, we're a group of people. We talk about success. We talk about y'all books. We talk about how you grow, so what you made or how many books you sold, because that's something to brag about, because we're
Right.
celebrating one another around here. Nobody's hating on nobody around here. You get what I'm saying? So as you
Mhm.
all continue to do that, like I said, it's gonna catch. It's already catching on to people. But keep doing what you're doing, because this is what our culture has to see, and even our nation of Coptic people have to see, that again, it is enough. God has provided enough for all of us to eat, for all of us to be successful, for all of us to be wealthy and prosperous. So I
Amen.
because it's so much that God gives. It's more than enough. So I don't have no reason to hate on somebody else as if you taking something out of my mouth or you taking something out of my pocket because you successful. No, you're not. This is your moment to shine. And when my time comes, it's gonna come. Don't hate on me then.
That
And that's
part.
the whole crab like thing, crab
Yeah.
like mentality. So you all keep doing what you're doing. Keep publicizing, keep working, keep writing, keep branding, because that's what I'm on. And that's why I always say it's not about just coming to church Sunday after Sunday showing up. No, we have some results to see. We
Yeah.
we we
Real
have
time.
some, and that's what I always encourage people. And they may think that I'm being facetious, but I'm not. I'll tell anybody, and even the people in my congregation, if you're somewhere where you're not growing, you're not learning, you're not being edified, there's nothing positive changing in your life, even if it is what we say one day at a time. And sometimes there will be a positive change suddenly, because when you step into a new and a better understanding, that's a change in itself, because you made the first step, because you decided to take the step, because I want something different. I'm looking for something better. I want to be greater.
Absolutely.
I want to do a greater work. I want to be the change that I want to see. I want to make a difference. So even in that moment, that's progress. And so this is what we have to continue to work on, and we have to continue to uplift others just like we uplift one another. We have to teach them how to do that. We have to demonstrate to them, no matter how much they hating and competing, we have to keep doing what we're doing. And so eventually, guess what? It will become a snowball effect. It might be a couple of people this time, but the next time it'll be three, and the next time it'll be six, and the next time it'll be nine. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Each one have to reach one.
I like that 369. I like that.
Y'all work on numbers too.
I wanted to say this is probably one of my last questions. I don't know if Luke got some after me, but now that you're saying all of the things that you're saying about doing things together and reaching out to the people, is this a perfect time, in your opinion, of us actually and this goes into also the question of like the politics and what Trump and the president is doing and how everything is getting restructured when it comes to policies and it comes to um the laws of the land, these bills that is being passed. Do you believe, in your opinion, that this is the right time to actually do what Prophet Cicero intended us to do, and that's to build our own nation within the nation?
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. I concur. Because we all know that if you study the system, when you have to be careful for doors you open and doors you close, right? Because when you open certain doors to accommodate one demographic, you have to be careful because that door opening creates loopholes for the people that you may be trying to hinder, right? And so when those loopholes are created, like the saying goes, when you dig one ditch, you better dig two, because the ditch you dug for me might just be for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are going to be loopholes, okay? And this is definitely the time, according to me. I can't speak for nobody else because you asked me, but I do feel this is definitely the time to build that nation within a nation. Because as things continue to unfold, again, I say you got to be careful what doors you open and what doors you close with an agenda to accommodate a particular demographic. And so, as history has repeated itself, at some point, the cycle may not be eliminated, but it'll be broken. And with it being broken, it opens up the door to eliminate it. If that answer, do that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to know what's fascinating, Solomon, is the fact that when he brought this duality to North America, I don't really think, I think one, because they were so fearful of him, even though, they were, using their white power, because of course this is what was happening during that time. But I find it really strange how so much, when you brought that out about what King Melchizedek did, I find it so strange how it's a lot of things in his proclamation that are happening right now.
Yeah, I still go back and reread, get a new understanding, new eye
Go back
opener.
and pay, and then stop and reflect on what's happening right now. And so I definitely do, Solomon. This is definitely the time to move because, you know, us as spiritual people, King Peter used to say, you keep the newspaper under one arm and your Bible under the other arm, which he was saying, it's okay to be spiritual and to be into your spirituality, but you also need to know what's going on in the world that you live in. We're in this world, but we're not of this world. And so that's another stage of common sense to say, hey, you need knowledge and you need wisdom to make it in this present world where God has planted us. And so we have to do what we have to do and let them do what they have to do. And then we allow the divine creator to do what the divine creator does because he's in control of it all. And so it should be what it should do, Solomon, it should be a lesson for us so that us as a nation and a culture of people can change the things that we need to change so that we're not affected as much by this the worldly and political side of things, the societal side of things.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wanted to ask another question. As hey, when you keep talking, I keep having questions, and I'm trying not to make it too long because I don't know what else you got to do. But what are some of your challenges that you face stepping out as a woman leader in the Coptic nation? Because now I
Um,
want to say before you answer that,
mhm,
Good
because
question.
I want to say this: the time and era that we're in right now, because a lot of answers that I've got spiritually when I was searching for should I go ahead and continue with you,
mhm,
the spirit always told me if I didn't see anybody else, and it's not by default, but if I didn't see anybody
mhm,
else, who am I listening to? Right? Because I know
mhm.
myself. I still have an ego problem that I'm working on. So I told myself, no, I still need guidance. I still need to be under somebody because I'm still a high head at times, and I have an
Okay, can you
ego
go back
about me.
to guidance because it kind of blinked out on me. So all I heard was I still need guidance.
Yeah, I was saying I still need guidance because I have an ego problem still.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. So, but so when like I say, like the spirit was telling me, in this time, the reason why everything happened the way that it happened is because of the energy that is needed for today's time, which is having a woman to be able to continue to take us forward. There's a lot of feminine energy nowadays, and I ain't talking about just men being whatever, but there's a lot of feminine energy nowadays that is getting to the point more than some of the prophets. I'm just being honest about it. So I just wanted to know and how you feel about your challenges and your thoughts, being a woman leader.
Um. Okay. So first and foremost, this particular hemisphere, this Western, had been European with the philosophy that a woman could not. Let's start there, okay? Because of course, in stepping into leadership, even our predecessors upon a time said a woman could not lead this way, and so on and so forth, right? And one of the predecessors being my grandfather, that I was frowned upon when I stepped out and opened. Now, here's the
Mm,
thing: when we talk about leadership, and you guys can attest to this in my congregation, you know that I always say that we are great people, right? But we are empowered by a higher power. It don't matter how you want to break that down. You want to say a demigod, a mini god, I am a god. I get all of that. But we are still empowered by a higher power. And King Melchizedek and King Peter were great men. They were definitely men who were used by higher power. They performed miracles. They saved a lot of people. They saved lives. And they wasn't all just that they saved either. Okay. But the point of me saying that is even in what they're at that time, right? Because this is not 1940. This is not the 50s. This is not the 60s. This is not the 70s. It's not even the 80s, the 90s, right?
right.
Early 2000s anymore, right? Because we're 25 years into a new millennia, right?
Mm,
So the only thing certain in life is change. And
absolutely.
looked around, even in our nation, with leadership, right? Once upon a time, it was not multiple leaders. That's the first change. The second thing is, as the trust, back to the earlier part of this conversation, as the trust and the faith in the people begins to dwindle down, and it's not to throw no shade at my, because y'all are great, but some people fell off. Let's just be real, right? We talked about this earlier with that hidden agenda, my philosophy, because now I'm in a position of authority. I got a platform to stand on now. So why is it that it's okay for all these other changes to happen as it pertains to men, but it's not okay for it to happen as it pertains to a woman? And at the end of the day, if you go in the good book, you are finding there where God changed his mind. Have y'all ever explored that part of the book where it talks about God changed his mind? Well, I can narrow it down. How did God change his mind when he allows us to repent and then he forgives us? Because a lot of us should have been castrated, lost limbs, beheaded, stoned to death, right? But
Right.
it's mine. And in the word it tells us that when Christ came, he did not do away with the Mosaic law. He didn't do away with the law, but when Christ came, he fulfilled the law. So, for example, when he said they say in the scripture where it says the man and the woman was caught in the very act of adultery, right? And what was the law? The law was if you was caught in the act of adultery, you were to be brought out and to be stoned to death, right? Mosaic law. Now let's fast forward. Now, when these two people were caught in the very act of adultery, they called Jesus to the scene. And Jesus very simply says, ye without sin,
Cast
cast
the
the
stone.
first stone. So, pardon me. So, what I had to come to understand is this. As great as my predecessors were, and they still are, because we still honor them to this very day. And I will always honor them. They are not my God. They are not my higher power. So, if I'm listening to the voice of God, when God speaks, I got to know the difference between King Peter's voice and God's voice. I have to know the difference between my bishop's voice and God's voice. I had to learn the difference between my queen's voice, God rest her soul, and God's voice. Because what did she teach us? That there was no man over God. Didn't your queen teach you that?
Yeah.
She said, I
Absolutely.
is the Father, Black Jesus is the Son, and he gave us the Holy Ghost, right? So when we stop idolizing and worshiping, putting people in this place of worship, because it takes nothing away from the great things that they did. But do you think they was always right? And I get criticized for it, and I'm okay with it. But do
Yeah.
you think that nobody always right?
That's
I'm
true.
telling you, King Peter perform miracles, but do I think he was always right? I seen my bishop perform miracles. I seen my queen perform miracles, but was she always right? No. And
Yeah.
again, if God can change his mind, and I also take this into consideration on a more literal level, right? Let's step away from spiritual for a moment. On a more literal level, look at the demographics of the men in the church. Back when King
Right.
Melchizedek had the prayer house open, and when King Peter had True Temple of Solomon open, there were more women, but guess what? The men wasn't lacking though. You had men standing all around the temple.
hmm Yeah, it's different. It's different now. It's almost
So
like it takes a little more.
by that particular time where maybe I could understand why they said that, because why? You had a surplus of prophets.
Right. Right.
But if you move from that time to this time, well, where's the surplus at? Tell me.
Mm-hmm.
While everybody's against the one, where's the surplus at? And then now let's take it to a spiritual level. You know, in our way of life, we have teachers, right?
All right.
It was time the queen laid hands on y'all. Y'all cried, maybe shouted, or whatever. Because what? You felt the power of God through your teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you got the Holy Ghost, you felt the power of God through your leader, right?
Right.
Teacher. And this was something that I said to a male leader that asked me a question basically similar to what you're saying. I said, how is it if God has given all of us the Holy Ghost, if I lay hands on my students or anoint my students or somebody in my in general and they feel the power of God and they shout, so you mean that Holy Ghost don't work 2 times out the year because I'm a woman now? But all these Tuesdays and Fridays and Sundays, I done worked with God's people, laid hands on them and prayed for them and anointed them and charged them. Now 2 Sundays out the year, it don't work because I'm a woman.
It never made sense.
That's why
Mm.
stop and think about what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
But I feel like this though, Solomon. It was a challenge. But here's what I love about the divine creator. He gave divine confirmation from those ancestors, King Peter and King Melchizedek, and opened up the door for us while I had been fighting to get us our own place. How, first of all, we spiritual, so we know we don't believe in coincidence, right?
Right.
So how is it that the door was opened up for us on February 17th? I'll wait.
Mm.
I got the paperwork to prove what I got. I got receipts.
That's your official open date.
My official first service,
Mm-hmm.
the day before 17th. I had a Friday night press, and the first official big service was when we all came together on February 17th, which was a Saturday on 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So if the powers that be, why are we blessed?
Amen.
The doors,
Was that when y'all was on the east side?
yes.
Okay. That was that service.
And something else that I want to add in there, right? Like I said, God is mine. God has no respect to person. You see how God is using you all. There's some moments where I've defended you all, and you just trying to be great.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we make people
Yeah.
mad.
I'm grateful that I don't have that mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm able to think for myself. And even if it is somebody, I always tell y'all to think about what I'm saying. I don't care that it's me telling you. You stop and think for yourself. Is what the queen telling me, do this really make sense? And I tell you
That's ooh.
for yourself. You don't got
That I think.
for it.
Yeah.
You see? So when we look at all of these different dynamics, if God is not in it, He's not gonna bless you. If God is not in it, He's not gonna keep opening doors. And I want to say this, and I'm gonna use it again. In my defense, there was a prophet who had been to everybody's church. And if I'm such a terrible person, if I'm so wrong, this prophet defended me, and he said, and I quote, I've been to everybody's church. And people can say what you can say what you want to say, but when I got through visiting everybody's church, she had students. She was the only church that I really saw that had students.
Mm-hmm.
So, which brings me to this, Solomon. Dude, you know, you probably heard me when I said the students agree to take over and outnumber all the other church. Well, they on their way because we got about 16 students.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
A few.
Yeah,
That's
I seen
growth.
that for myself when I came in town.
That's growth.
When you came, it was 8 students in a row. when you came, right?
Yeah.
It was 8 of them in their robes. But we do have students that live out of town. But these are active members. We got about 17. When they wait till baptism come. Wait till baptism come and they all come because they got to get baptized. And some of them are
That's growth right there. That's the
Mm-hmm.
real way you can tell if a church is growing or dying. Where the students at? Do they have students?
these are not people that just grew up in the church hitting the student role. These are outside people.
Yeah. Brand new.
It's not my little cousin and then her daughter and her son and now they 12. No, our students are outside people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
That's a
nothing wrong
major
with that, by
difference.
the way, too. There's nothing
No
wrong with that course either.
generational construct from generation to generation. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud to say I'm looking at 2 generations just of my offspring. Bishop is looking at 3 generations of his offspring in the church. So I'm not, don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it. But
Yeah.
when we look at the facts of how people keeping students in their church, it was because of the family situation. Well, we want to go beyond that. Yeah, we're gonna
Right.
keep it together. But our students are students that are fresh meat off the street or
Mm-hmm.
fishing and say, hey, come go to service with me. Come, let me introduce you to my teacher. And guess what? What I tell y'all, you get them to me and I got it. I
Mm-hmm.
see y'all now. It's more students in the church than we got queen. It's
Mm-hmm.
more students in the church than we got princess. And it's about to be more students in the church than we got. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. I'm awfully proud of that. And I thank God and I'm humbled by that because God had to show me. And this is why back to the original part of the question. If God can change his mind, who are we to tell somebody what they can and can't do? Because God have no respect to person. Like my message on yesterday, who God calls, he will qualify. Who he qualifies, he will equip. So I don't have a point to prove because God has proven a point for me.
Yeah. And it's just the time recycling itself again.
Yeah. That's what I say.
I
It's the
probably
time
got some
period.
more. This the last thing I'm gonna say. I promise. I think it's time recycling itself. You were given the name Hatshepsut way before all of this came, and y'all know I'm Luke, so I be all into the historic stuff. I've always looked into her story, the ancient Hatshepsut of ancient Egypt. This was the issue that the generals and the people had. They couldn't understand.
Oh, hey,
Not
grandma.
only
She said, hi, what y'all saying is
yeah, they
true.
go with our loyals in there. They couldn't understand, well, why are the people, why is so much prosperity coming now that she's the leader? It was an unfortunate thing that her brother passed away. You know, if you know the story, her brother passed away. Her nephew wasn't able, he was not old enough to be able to hold the throne. But I think one thing that made her a very big political power in ancient Kemet was that she understood the needs of the people. If you really look into her reign, and she has a lot of information, she has diaries that have come out. I mean, so much has come out about this spirit that has dwelled, and that's been around. It's an ability to be able to look at what the people need and not be all into the ego. This was like her thing. She knew, well, as the royal house, we got this, we got that, but our people need more land. Our people need more crops. We taking care of the largest civilization in the world, and we starting to get hungry. So she began to expand, and she stopped fighting with people and fighting with this and fight. She didn't do all that. She was looking at, okay, you do your thing, you do your thing. If you need me, I'm over here. Because at the end of the day, my name is Ma'at. Law and order is gonna abide. But I always think about that now in our day and time. If you think of all these thousands of years later, that name that resonates with you is something that we've been blessed to be able to apply to our way of life. And I really take that as a blessing because it's not something small. It's something very big for what we're all trying to accomplish as Israel has his goals, as Solomon has his goals, as I have my goals. It's good to see someone, and know, okay, they're going to support. And that's what she did. She was always known for supporting her people. She supported her contractors and her builders. She actually supported her Navy more than her brother did, because if you look at the time, her brother didn't put much money into it.
And he did.
Her brother decided to do other things. When she became in power after he passed away and she became Pharaoh, she invested a large amount of the political money into their Navy fleet because they already had these things. So sometimes it's not about the woman or the man thing. It's about who got the right idea.
That's
And
true.
where would Egypt be without that great prosperous period? Because when she became in power, they start getting everything you can ask for. They getting more gold. They're negotiating better contracts. I've looked into it very deeply. Getting better contracts from native lands, being able to provide better protection because her army grew. But this was a woman pharaoh. They thought, oh, that people gonna have a problem with it. No, people, especially men, because we're talking about an army, they like to see results. They don't really care what you are or who you are. They want results. And there have been many men that have come and promised and promised and promised, but didn't provide results, and then get mad at us when we say, well, she provided results. You know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. To each their own, work your own land. So I'm glad Solomon asked that question, because that's what I was kind of hinting at a little earlier.
Yeah, that was a good question.
We're dealing in a time now to where they'll say, oh, well, you can't get this and you can't get that from a woman. You can't get this and you can't get that. But most of the time, people who are saying that ain't got nothing going on for themselves. It's a coping mechanism. If I make you feel bad, I'm going to feel better about myself. When reality, if you had all the resources and all the power, you wouldn't even be looking her way because you'll be so focused on what you're doing.
Somebody else's life to feel like it's dominated. And that's the same thing you're talking about. I'm not, and that's what people wanted me to do. Why should I have to dim my light? That's a light because you choose not to illuminate your light, or we can the five foolish flag. You gonna talk about me because I did what I was supposed to do. I preserved my oil. I kept my lamp lit when I needed, and so you went and you've expended all of your resources, and now you want some of mine. And you get mad at me when I'm like, no. I'm not finna I'm not giving you my oil for your lamp, because guess what? We were given the same amount of oil for our lamps. Now, what did you do?
We got the same 24 hours.
Love about the Coptic way of life. Everybody is given the same running chance. Everybody is given the same equal opportunity, man or woman, right? From the student degree. And what you choose to do with your opportunity, did you go to class? Did you pressure? Did you learn your points? Did you study your money kingdom? Did you study your black men? Did you apply these things to your life? And did you continue to press? Right? And then what happens? You have a whole bunch of people that start out with you. And when we get to the holy season, which is kind of sort of like the finishing line, right? You might find yourself walking up to the mountaintop by yourself. Because the other people that started out with you, they wasn't running like you were running. They wasn't going like they have. They were not taking in their teaching and applying the principles. They were not using the spiritual resources to help make your life and your situation better. So what happens? Somebody left behind, and what they waiting for the second Passover? If they waiting for the next year to come around, you chose not to maximize on your opportunity. And it's the same thing I said. Listen, it's up to you. You can't keep blaming somebody else for your shortcomings and your lack of interest in yourself. And interest is the first point, because it all starts with interest. You got to be interested in what you're doing. So there is no respect to person.
I like what you're doing, great Pharaoh Queen. I've been rooting from the start.
That's my fave, so the whole world could know. And it didn't just start today because we on a podcast. That's been my fave for years.
Right. I've been like, go ahead, great Pharaoh Queen. In my corner back here watching from the out. I was trying to get to church. What was it? I was in town for a hot second a couple of weeks ago, but my job had other stuff going on. But I'm gonna have to come by, get the word, have a good time.
Yeah, stop.
Attend service.
What did you say, Queen? It kind of went out a little bit.
I was agreeing with Israel. I said, yeah, stop through and see your people. We your people too.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a great conversation. I don't want to cut the wisdom if we got any more questions, any more time, because I don't, like I say, I don't know what else the Pharaoh got to do.
No, I said
But
this sad because I was so honored. Okay. So I love these kind of conversations. And I wish that we could have these kind of conversations with others. But this is why I always teach that you have to be around like-minded people. We're enjoying this, but to somebody else, this is boring because their mind is stuck. Like you said earlier, Solomon, they become complacent and they become okay with being, and Israel touched on this too, with being in that same place. You okay with minimum wage? I'm not okay with minimum wage. Did I want
Mm-mm.
minimum wage? Absolutely, right? Because you always have to have a starting point. But where you start is not where you're supposed to finish.
Right.
mm-hmm.
People have to become more interested. And it leads us right back to that first point, right? People have to become more interested in what? Being
Absolutely.
broadening your horizons. Don't limit yourself to boundaries that you just been taught about. Right? That's where that whole be multidimensional comes in, Solomon. Because you can take, I'm gonna use your book for example, just off the little bit of information you gave us. You have a new book coming forth, and lo and behold, it's gonna be some other things, pardon me, that's gonna go along with the book, right? So that means you operated from one dimension of writing, but you stepped over into another dimension because what's coming along with it. And that definitely is multidimensional. And for the
That's
record,
it. That's the perfect example.
just for the record, Solomon ain't told me nothing. So don't y'all think that. That's why he cheesing. Because I'm trying to get from a prophetic standpoint, because I'm reading into what he's talking about is coming along with this new book. And especially with the title of the book, and she's from Captivia.
Coptia,
Copti.
Coptiaton,
Okay.
Coptiaton. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was going back and forth with the name, but I settled on Coptiaton.
Okay. Well, so you see, when you get interested, when you get interested, broaden your horizons. Learn about more than just what mom and daddy told you. Because there were things I had to study and research and learn on my own. And it brought me a greater abundance of prosperity to me because why? It enlightened me. It edified me. It was the information was conducive for what I was out searching for. So it went well together. And this is what we try to encourage others to do. And again, I'm truly grateful for you all because again, I wish we could have more enjoyable conversations like this with some of our other sisters and brothers who don't have that competitive type of mentality. Because it's like we've been this has been going on so long. It's like you'll say, you know what? I'm trying to do something different. They're gonna be like, oh, who she thinks she is. Stop
Oh,
me,
they say it now.
stop me when I'm lying. Who she thinks she is. Or somebody see we did something different, and then now somebody else want to do something different. Well, I'm not mad that you was inspired by what I did because we can be trendsetters to one another.
Yeah,
It's not a competition.
We
it's
It's
say that
not.
all the time.
trail, you blaze that trail. And if it's inspiring to me, guess what? I'm gonna say, hey, Solomon, I want to write a book. Can you help me out? How do you write a book? I don't have to.
Mhm.
I don't know who he think he is since he younger than me. He think he writing out books and whatnot. Even Israel too. Who he think he is? I changed his diaper. No, Solomon, I'm proud of you. Israel, I'm proud of you. Luke, I'm proud of you. Hey,
Bless you,
Thank you.
bless you.
Thank
y'all don't
you,
let
thank you.
So, uh, put me on. Can
Mm-hmm.
you show me, give me a start? Show me how to get this process started since you've done it 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this your
Yeah.
guys. Woo.
He want to get on camera. Hey,
Who was that?
Tyler, say hey.
hey.
They keep you company.
You see your G Daddy?
Hey.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey.
So
Y'all
you
be
see,
good now.
have something, some type of vision. Because guess what? I got to leave a legacy for my.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Queen. We got that. They the reason really y'all we doing this podcast. I mean, people be looking. We got a lot of people don't know we have so many young people that look up to us. We humble men. Israel, Solomon, ourselves, we don't talk about it a lot, but it is a lot of people that are looking at what we're doing. So it's not always about, trying to make somebody mad or nothing like that. We have a lot of young prince that are going to be looking one day and they're going to be saying, they did what okay, that was kind of cool. Maybe I can do something similar, or we just trying to pave a positive way, but there are a lot of blessings that are coming. And I'm grateful for your time. I don't have any more questions. I just want to say thank you for taking time out to come. Like Solomon said, we had to get the Pharaoh
Thank you.
on the Pharaohs podcast. It wouldn't be right without doing it.
Yeah,
I
it
know you
wouldn't
was
have been
like,
right.
where my invite? We have been planning and not trying to say nothing to you right away. We're trying to get it right.
Right.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Now, the only thing I want to leave with you guys in this special episode, seeing this is closing out this particular season, and you guys take this with you and spread the word, okay? Don't ever allow your inspiration of someone else to turn into jealousy and low-key hate. Because guess what I found, guys? A lot of your haters are really not your haters. They're really inspired by you and they don't know how to channel that energy. So I say, never allow your inspiration to turn into jealousy and hate for somebody else. Because all you have to do, you inspired by somebody, a closed mouth don't get fed. And I believe that if it was something I was interested in that any one of you were doing, and I really wanted to know because I'm so inspired, I'm gonna come ask you. You reserve the right and have the prerogative to say, well, no, I'm not sharing it with you. Like so many people have done me that I helped. And when it was time to reciprocate, I couldn't get that in return. And this is why
Gatekeeping.
and this is why, if you notice, I take the position that I do, I stay away. I go where we're welcome and where we're wanted. And outside of that, we be on the corner of 103rd and Low, man, praising the God that blesses us every day and trying to build a church for God. And
Sowing the land.
that's right. Don't allow your inspiration to be turned into hate or jealousy. Because all you have to do is open up and network, and you surprised that people help. So that was my closing message for this podcast. I want y'all to take that for the ending of this season. Never let your inspiration become jealousy or hatred, because all you have to do is ask.
Well, thank you for that, Queen.
Thank you, because they're gonna clip that one right there. They're gonna clip that.
I like that.
That's the great
See how
Pharaoh
that was good.
Queen.
Oh, thank you for having me. When I say I truly appreciate it and I'm truly honored to be a part of this special season, and y'all saved the best for last. So yeah, but I'm truly honored and I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm just grateful to hear what you are sharing in the podcast with people all around the globe, all around the country.
Absolutely.
Hey, what the song say? Tell the world about this. That's what we doing.
Hey, tell the world about that.
And they looking at y'all. When I look at y'all, if they can't look at y'all and tell y'all blessed, something wrong with them.
Yeah.
Amen.
Tell the nation I'm blessed.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you What you say, Israel, the Pharaoh Queen. He like to
Bless
say
the
it. He
great Pharaoh Queen. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
while
land.
doing what you do,
the Empress Sarah said, hey.
Sarah.
I don't know if she's still on here or not. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and let you go. But we gotta close out our episode. And we appreciate you stopping by and sharing things with us.
Tell them where they can see more of the great Pharaoh Queen. Where can they find us?
Thank you. Thank you. All right. And continue to be the great men that God has created you to be. And I love you all so much.
Thank
Love you too.
Love you.
All right. Till next time.
All right.
All right.
That was
was
great.
awesome.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Man.
That
A
was
good look
fun.
at do you good. It's been a minute since I seen the great Pharaoh Queen. Gotta go back in person. Oh, man.
Yeah,
All
you was
right,
eating.
fellas.
We can tell you was eating over there. Israel was over there writing it down. He like, wait a minute.
A little bit roasting stuff,
We be
roasting
missing you,
stuff
bro.
down.
Well, we know how
Yeah.
it is. You down there working, but you
Yeah.
always been a part of the family. So
Yeah. I need to get my ultimate traveling my traveling technological device again, shall I say. And get back to
yeah,
traveling so I can be there in an hour or so. Get the jet. Corvette, fly the vet. What they say? Fly the jet. Yeah.
We had to give for our season finale. We had to get the real Pharaoh on here. She's also the inspiration for the title of the podcast. So, I just wanted to definitely do that. Before we get out of here, of course, we got to continue to, promote what we got going on, things of that nature. This is the last episode until August. Okay, family? We will be back in August with season 2 of the Pharaohs Podcast. Bigger and better things are coming. Okay, we're gonna have some more giveaways. We're gonna have some different things, how we're gonna switch it up and how it's gonna look and things of that nature. We're gonna keep on growing and growing, and I hope y'all keep on going and growing with us. Okay. I was about to say, I forgot. As I was talking, what was the oh, I wanted to do a last NBA update before we get out of here because we didn't do this. Yeah, we didn't do this, right? We got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers in the finals. Fellas, who you got? I know, Luke, you gonna tell a story about what you did, but who y'all got before we get out of here? I got Pacers.
All y'all going with Pacers? Yeah. You know what? It sounds like it's a family affair because I'm actually gonna take the Pacers with this one as well. I'm gonna take the Pacers with this
might
one.
be all wrong,
OKC. At first, I was OKC. Solomon said something. He was talking about it, and it made me kind of think about it. And I said, you know what? They might really take this one, but also too, because the Pacers made the brother a little money. You feel me? So I'm grateful for them. Yes, Halliburton. Well, what? Let me tell you.
What the hell, Halliburton?
that first final game was crazy, and I happened to be on the phone with Solomon Israel at the time during the game. You remember I had sent everything to the group chat.
Yeah,
I wasn't even paying attention to what was going on. I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna let it work. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pacers too, man. They might take this one home.
It might be low key. It might be Oklahoma City Thunder. We might all be wrong, but that's what I'm just going with at the moment. So family, our sports fans, that's our little sports section of the day. Like I said, this is the season finale. Y'all go forward and be blessed. We will be back in August for season 2. And let me also remind everybody I got 2 books that's gonna be out by the time we come back.
Ooh.
First one, there are only 9 numbers. Okay, a book of numerology.
Oh, it's not.
You can go get your copy right now. Okay, and then new book, The Gifted Princess, is coming out June 27th.
I thought you was gonna put it up, man. I thought you was gonna put it up.
There it is.
I ain't got that. I was looking for the physical copy.
He said he gonna make us wait.
June 27th. Okay, make sure y'all get this. This is my baby right here. This next level right here. My first fictional book. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna go with a couple of things that I got planned for it. All right, June 27th. Make sure y'all get that. Thank you for all our support for first season. We love y'all.
Thank you very much.
I am your host.
To look at our videos, share the podcast.
For sure. This is episode 52. I'm your host, Solomon, and you can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Solomon Walker. You can find me, follow me on Instagram at CJ Walker 103. And if you want to get your book published, because I'm not a gatekeeper, I'll help you publish your book. And you can email me at cwalker1582@gmail.com. Israel, where can people find you?
Y'all can find me at my email, johnatl61.com. You can find me on my website, jonathanjohnson621.com. You can find me on the podcast. Go find my videos, our videos. And yeah, you find me around the nation. I'll be outside just as much as I be inside after I pay the rent.
Luke, where can people find you?
Oh man, you can find me at Luke733 leader number 9 at gmail.com, or you can also find me at the Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com, or you can also find me at, like the Queen said, 103rd 625 West 103rd Street. You know, we here all the time. One real quick announcement: I do have some coming up. I actually got to talk to the Queen about it. The Chicago Food Depository is not going to be getting ready to get their new plan started up until a little bit later on. So they're about to do this mass giveaway. So I don't know. I might be having something going on here on Wednesday where I'm giving out food. I'm still kind of working all of the logistics out with the director. So we both trying to work something out. But there's a possible big food giveaway on Wednesday here this week. I know the people are not going to get a chance to see it, but just to let y'all know, we still making moves out here. Over here on 103rd West. Yeah, we still making moves.
Man, that's what's up. I'm inspired. I'm inspired about that. I was trying to do something like that with some of my counterparts, but you know, everybody different, you know, different agendas. But that is good. Go forth and be great. Continue to give to the land.
And one more quick announcement too. Before we go, with the Love Lifting Me Foundation. So once we get back started out, actually it's some good news. We was able to get accepted as one of the sponsored people, like when you kind of first get started out. So now the Love Lifting Me Foundation is going to be getting these deliveries brought to us directly from the source instead of us having to outsource and go pick up and all of these things. So we're going to have more food. We're going to have a quicker turnaround with getting more food for the people. So by the time by the time we start season 2, for all our listeners and stuff out there, I will have some information as far as how you can donate to the Love Lifting Me Foundation. These are all things I'm getting done for the summer to get ready, and then we'll go ahead and start letting you all know. We appreciate all of you all that's just kept a good thought about us. But I know sometimes maybe some people might want to financially donate or send something over that might be able to help us. So I'm getting all that in order for the Pharaohs Podcast to be able to support however we do. And yeah, that's my last announcement for the end of the season.
Yeah, like they said, family, we'll be back in August. We have our holy season. We have baptism. We have our Old Heaven Passover. If you want to learn about these things. We're definitely going to break down some more things in season 2. Probably more in depth of things in our Patreon. But when we get that started, so just to let you all know, that is the reason for the break. We got our own spiritual things that we got going on that we need to get together. So you can also find us if you cannot catch us on Mondays, because it's gonna still be the same time. Spotify every Tuesday. The Pharaohs Podcast is on Spotify. So thank you for also our Spotify subscribers and listeners. I know when y'all hear this episode, I want y'all to also know that y'all are greatly appreciated. Okay. We're gonna be on Apple Podcasts as well. All of the old episodes will be uploaded during the month of July. So you're gonna be able to check us out everywhere. All podcasts everywhere. Even did you even know that they had podcasts on Pandora?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know
Yeah.
that, but guess what? We on there. So
There we go. We everywhere. Got to be
we
omnipresent.
everywhere. We everywhere. So that's all for me, family. We love y'all. Thank y'all for y'all support. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.